In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning, one day. Then God said, "Let there be an expanse between waters." And he separated water from water. He called that expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning, the second day. Then God said, "Let the waters be gathered to one place, and let dry land appear." God called the dry land earth, and he called the gathered waters seas. And he saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth vegetation and plants." And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, the third day. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of heaven to separate the day from the night." And he made two great lights, the greater to govern the day and the lesser to govern the night. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, the fourth day. Then God said, "Let the waters teem with swarming living creatures, and let birds fly in the heavens." And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply on the earth." And there was evening and there was morning, the fifth day. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures." And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our own image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the creation." And God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth." And God saw all that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. On the seventh day God completely rested from his work which he had done. He blessed the seventh day, because it was on that day that he rested. Then the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, and he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living being. Out of the ground the Lord God caused to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The Lord God commanded the man, saying, "From any of the trees of the garden you may eat freely, but from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For the day you eat from it, you shall surely die." Then the Lord God said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helpmate suitable for him." The Lord God formed every beast from the field and every bird of the sky, and brought them to the man to see what he would name it. And what he named it, that was its name. But for Adam no suitable helper was found. The Lord God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep. And he took one of his ribs and closed that place over with flesh. The Lord God fashioned into a woman the rib which he had taken from the man, and he brought her to the man. And when he saw her, he said, "This is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. For this reason a man leaves his father and his mother and is united, is joined to his wife, and the two become one flesh. And the man and his wife were both naked, and were not ashamed." The serpent was more crafty than any of the beasts which the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Has God really said you're not allowed to eat of the trees of the garden?" She said, "From the fruits of the trees of the garden we may eat. But from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, God said, 'You shall not eat from it or touch it, for you will die.'" The serpent said, "You will not die. For God knows that the day you eat of it, your eyes will be open, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and the fruit was delightful to the eyes, and she desired to be wise, she took some of the fruit and ate it. She gave also to her husband, and he ate. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they knew that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together to make for themselves loin coverings. Then they heard the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and the woman hid themselves from the presence of God amongst the trees. The Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid, because I'm naked, so I hid myself." And the Lord God said to him, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree which I commanded you not to eat from? And the man said, The woman that you gave me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And the Lord said to the woman, What is this you have done? And she said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate. And the Lord God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, cursed are you above all the other beasts. Every day you will crawl on your belly and eat dust the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He will bruise your head, and you will bruise his heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly increase the pain of childbirth. In pain you will bring forth children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you. Then to Adam he said, Because you have listened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree which I commanded you, you shall not eat from it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you will eat of it all of the days of your life. Both thorns and thistles it shall grow for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your face you will eat bread until the day you return to the ground, because you were taken from the ground. You are dust, and to dust you shall return. Then the Lord God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife, and he clothed them. Then the Lord God said, Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Now he might stretch out his hand and take from the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him out of the Garden of Eden to cultivate the ground from which he had been taken. So he drove the man out. And at the east of the Garden of Eden he stationed the cherubim with a flaming sword, turning this way and that way to guard the way to the tree of life. Now the man had relations with his wife Eve, and she conceived and gave birth to Cain. And she said, I have gotten a man-child with the help of the Lord. Again she gave birth to his brother Abel. Abel was a keeper of flocks, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So it came about in the course of time that Cain brought an offering to the Lord of the fruit of the ground. Abel for his part also brought of the firstlings of his flocks and their fat portions. And the Lord God regarded Abel and his offering, but for Cain and his offering he had no regard. The author of Hebrews writes, By faith Abel offered to God a better sacrifice than Cain, through which he obtained the testimony that he was righteous. So Cain became very angry, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen? Sin is crouching at your door, and its desire is for you, but you must master it. It came about that when they were in the field, Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and killed him. Then the Lord God said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? And he said to God, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper? Then the Lord God said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. You are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you cultivate the ground, it will no longer yield its strength to you, and you will be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth. Cain said, My punishment is too great for me to bear. Behold, you drive me this day before the face of the ground. And from your face I will be hidden, and I will be a vagrant and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. So the Lord God said to him, Therefore whoever kills Cain, vengeance will be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord God appointed a sign for Cain, so that anyone finding him would not slay him.